Okay, so it's just past midnight. Chicago. My phone's dying, like flashing red battery icon dying. And the train station I need, closed. Shut down for maintenance, wouldn't you know it? So I pull out the rideshare app, and it starts glitching right away. Fails once, twice, three times. Then finally, yeah, confirmation. A ride's coming. I remember see the driver's info pop up. David K, 4.9 stars, white sedan, digitally. Everything looked totally fine, safe, even. Right, so the car pulls up, maybe 2 minutes later. Felt like a relief, honestly. But it wasn't like a new white sedan. Not at all. It was an older car. A Crown Victoria. You know the type. Big, kind of anonymous looking. But it was spotless. Like almost too clean for its age,
Yeah.
But definitely dated. And the driver, this David K., he leans over. He's got this quiet, polite, almost old-fashioned smile. He didn't ask my name, didn't confirm the destination on the app. Just one question. He says, "You headed downtown?" I just nod, kind of surprised, and he waves me in. The moment I sat down, the smell hit me. It was really distinct. Faint, but also kind of heavy, a mix of aftershave and gasoline. Old school smell. It felt like the kind of car where nobody's, checking their phone constantly, no radio playing, dead silent. My phone's dying, so I automatically reach for where a charger might be. Nothing, no cable, no port I could see. The only personal thing visible, the only thing, was the small wooden rosary just hanging there from the rearview mirror. It started when I glanced down at my phone screen, the little battery I had left. The GPS map was still working, showing we were moving, but definitely not towards downtown, not the way the app would take you. We're veering off, pretty sharply actually, towards the industrial side of town. Warehouses, dark streets. That's when the first real, knot formed in my stomach. So I spoke up. Tried to keep it casual, Hey, I think you missed the exit back there. Just silence. He didn't even turn his head, didn't react at all. I tried again, a bit louder maybe. "Sir!" He finally gave this tiny, almost imperceptible nod, like he heard me, but it didn't matter. His hand stayed locked, 10 and 2 on the wheel, eyes straight ahead. Just kept driving deeper into the dark. The surroundings just became instantly alien. We were going under these huge dark bridges. I couldn't even really see them, just felt their mass overhead. Felt like we were in a part of the city that wasn't meant for people, just trucks, maybe trains, closed down factories. The isolation was intense. I remember looking ahead, checking the mirrors, looking side to side, and realizing there were no other cars at all, anywhere. Just us, just the hum of our tires on the pavement and our headlights cutting through the black. It was like being in a vacuum, completely empty. So I'm trying to just ground myself, right? Make sense of this. I look up into the driver's rearview mirror, just trying to focus on something familiar, and that's when I saw it, or didn't see it. I could see myself perfectly clearly, my face, my reflection, sitting there in the back seat. But the seat itself, the actual physical back seat around my reflection in the mirror, it looked empty, completely blank, like no texture, no shadows, no detail of the upholstery, just my reflection floating there. While I knew I could feel I was sitting on a physical seat, I just froze, thinking, how? How can I see me, but not the car I'm literally sitting in? After all that unnerving silence, his voice finally came. It wasn't loud. It was this low, kind of gravelly sound, incredibly tired, like he's stating a fact he'd stated a million times before. He just said, "You shouldn't be here." And just like that, the car stopped. Instantly. I looked out the window. We were literally in the middle of nowhere. Narrow road, tall, wet grass on either side, fog rolling in. No lights, no buildings, nothing. I turned back towards him, totally confused, ready to ask what the hell, and he finally looked at me. But only through the mirror again. His eyes met mine in the reflection, and he delivered the final line. Real quiet, almost chilling. "You're lucky, most don't get out." Before I could even process that, before I could ask, get out of what? Everything just went black. Next thing I know, I'm standing on the side of that same narrow, foggy road, alone. My phone is still in my hand somehow. I look at it. The time is 1:14 a.m. And here's the kicker. The rideshare app. It's open on the screen, but it's still searching for a driver. Like the request never went through. I checked my ride history immediately. Nothing. No trip recorded. No charge pending. No mention of David K. or his 4.9 stars. Gone. Like the whole ride, the whole hour, whatever it was, just digitally evaporated. And a few minutes later, maybe 5, a yellow cab comes rolling down the road. I flagged him down. He stopped and asked him if he'd seen another car, the Crown Vic. He swore up and down the road was totally empty when he came through just moments before. Empty. The next day, I'm still shaken, obviously. I mentioned it to a coworker, someone who's lived in Chicago forever. I described the car, the Crown Vic, the general area near Union Station where it started. He just went pale. Dead silent for a second. Then he gives me this really flat, serious warning. He says, "Don't ever get into an old Crown Vic around Union Station after midnight." Apparently there's this story about a driver, maybe a cabbie or someone, who died on that route years back. He just keeps driving. Keeps picking people up. He can't tell who's real anymore.
Have you ever been on one of those overnight buses, watching the headlights just cutting through total blackness, that silent kind of watching feeling? Well, I was there. On that bus, I was going from Reno down towards Tonopah, Nevada. Found out later, the locals have a name for that stretch. They call it the Ribbon of Silence.
Quiet, maybe 10 of us on board, tops. A real mix. You know the type. People who just want to disappear into the seat. There was this elderly couple, kind of slumped together asleep. A young woman with this absolutely enormous backpack, trying to look small behind it. And this cowboy dude, lean guy, just staring straight ahead, didn't blink much. And the driver, he was this big, solid guy, gray stubble. Looked like he'd been driving that exact route forever, even if he wasn't actually that old. Then, as we're pulling out, he says something, just loud enough. Said, keep your eyes open tonight. This road plays tricks on you. But it wasn't like friendly advice. It was just like flat, like he was reading a safety card or something. Too practiced, too knowing. Felt like a warning, honestly. Like an omen. Anyway, maybe an hour passes, and the desert just completely swallows us. Total blackness outside, the kind of dark where your eyes start seeing things that aren't there, that deep. Just the yellow lines clicking under the wheels, and nothing else. Just emptiness. Happened around midnight, I think. I just felt the bus like easing off the gas, not braking hard, just decelerating smoothly. But for no reason I could see. I kind of leaned forward, right? Looking out the front window. Expected maybe, I don't know, road work. An animal. But nothing. Road was clear, empty. And the silence inside the bus got deeper. Weird way to put it, but it felt heavy, like the air changed. The driver, he leaned forward too, squinting out. And I saw the reflection on his console, the dashboard. That's when I saw it. The tech was dead. GPS screen. Totally black. Just glass. The radio wasn't even trying. Just static. A dead hiss. Made the silence feel even louder somehow. We were all kind of watching him then, nobody moving. Just this slow bus and this dead tech. And then he muttered something. Softly. Almost to himself. Just said, not again. Like he was expecting it, like his routine. That little phrase, not again, that's the thing, right? It tells you this wasn't some random breakdown. For him, the GPS dying, the bus slowing down for no reason, it wasn't an emergency. It was like, oh, here we go. Part of the schedule almost. Like the modern stuff, the navigation had to fail first. That was the trigger for whatever came next. What came next, it happened instantly. The headlights blinked, off, then on again. Super quick, maybe half a second. But when they came back on, everything was different. The road, we hadn't turned. I didn't feel any swerve, no bumps, nothing. But suddenly we weren't on the highway anymore. This road was narrow, cracked asphalt, and we were climbing, definitely climbing. Hugging the edge of these cliffs, the bus was like straining. That got people moving. The old guy, second row, he actually stood up, grabbed the seat back, said it plain as day. This isn't the highway. You should be going through the basin, not the ridge. He knew the route, clearly. Driver didn't even look at him, just stared ahead, hands gripping that wheel, knuckles white. Curiosity, disbelief, I don't know. I wanted to see what the driver was seeing. And just then, this sign flashes past in the headlights. Old sign, weather-beaten plaque thing. Gone in a second, but I saw it clear as anything. Burned into my brain. It said, Route 117 closed since 1974. 1974. That date just hung there. In the freezing cold air, it felt almost solid. It wasn't just that we were somewhere else. We were sometime else too, on a road that supposedly hadn't existed for almost 50 years. The silence then. Wow, it was absolute. Painful almost, like everyone stopped breathing at once. And the proof was right outside the window. You could see these old rusted guardrails, the antique kind, half buried in the sand and rocks along the cliff edge, crumbling away. But the real kicker, right there, the edge of the drop-off, just caught in the sweep of the headlights as we crept along. The frame, the skeleton of a bus, burned out, ancient-looking, fused to the rocks almost, stripped bare by decades out there. That wreck changed everything. It wasn't just some random spooky road anymore. It was this road. Route 117, closed in 74. It felt like the road wasn't just showing us something. It was making us participate. Making us follow the path of that bus, the one that crashed. The driver wasn't just lost on some ghost road. He was stuck in this loop, this mechanism tied to that specific crash, that specific year. He knew the route because the road made him know it again and again, and he was starting to panic then. But quietly. You could just see it, lips moving, whispering to himself, hands shaking on the wheel. You could just make out the words, same thing, over and over, desperate. We'll pass it this time. Well, I'll pass it. But the bus, it was barely moving, just crawling, like inches per second along this crumbling cliff edge. He knew something was coming, and we were moving towards it so slowly. Trapped. Then the cold hit. Instantly. Not normal desert night cold. This was deep, penetrating. Like all the heat just got sucked out of the bus. And the windows, boom, fogged up completely. From the inside, white mist sealing us in. Couldn't see a thing outside. It felt like an arrival, like something immense was drawing energy from right around us. You know, the physical sign that the barrier was gone. Between our bus, our time, and whatever was out there from 1974, it meant we were right on top of it, whatever it was. So I wiped a patch clear on the window condensation with my sleeve. Had to see. And there it was, the Spectre, right alongside us, just driving parallel. A few feet away, maybe, another bus. But it was old, decayed looking, darker than the dark somehow. No lights on it at all, nothing. Headlights, taillights inside, pitch black. No driver visible. But it was moving, gliding, keeping perfect pace with our crawling speed, right on the cliff edge. And the scariest part, no sound. Absolutely silent. No engine rumble, no tires on gravel, nothing. Just moving darkness. A shadow bus. That broke someone. The woman in the back. She just screamed. This raw, terrified sound. And the scream seemed to snap the driver out of it. He slammed on the brakes. Hard. Threw us all forward in our seats. Stopped us dead. Right there. On the edge. It was gone. I blinked. Maybe from the jolt. And the shadow bus just wasn't there anymore. Vanished back into the black. The old couple, they started praying then. Quietly. But you could hear the panic in their voices. Whispering prayers. And the return. It was just as instant as the shift away. While we were stopped dead, the GPS screen on the dashboard flickered, then flared back to life. Bright green map showing Highway 95. I looked out the window again, and the ground, the road, it was wide, flat, smooth asphalt. We were back on the main highway, Highway 95, empty, straight, predictable, like the cliff, Route 117, the whole climb. It had just been erased while we sat there for that second. All that was left was the fear and the silence. Nobody said a word after that, not one. The driver just put the bus back in gear, accelerated, and kept driving towards Tonopah. Like we all just agreed, without speaking, to pretend the last maybe 10-15 minutes never happened. That silence held all the way until dawn, until the first light started hitting the desert. You know, when we got to the station, finally, he looked wrecked, pale, exhausted. He parked the bus, got out, immediately lit a cigarette. Hands still shaking a little bit. I had to know, had to hear him say something. So I walked over. He looked at me, dead serious. No trace of that weird, jokey tone from the start. And he just explained it, almost matter of fact, like talking about, I don't know, traffic patterns. He said, every few years the road pulls us off, just like that. Like it wants to remind us it's still there. He saw it as this recurring thing, unavoidable, not really supernatural, more like the road itself acting up, reasserting itself. He mentioned it only happens when the tech fails, that specific dark spot, the signal loss. That's the doorway, basically. Like the modern world has to blink first, for the old road, Route 117, to grab hold. It's this creepy kind of timing, chronological synchronicity, yeah.